Hi there, it's Kevin with the Rogue Market here with today's episode of the Daily Delve, where we delve into the MTG market to look for a card that has potential of going up. So we're continuing my series on the top commanders from Foundations, and the second most played commander according to EDH Rec is Tiny Bones, Bauble Burglar, and I'm actually thinking this is going to be a popular commander in the long term. It has a pretty nifty little ability of using your opponent's cards against them, and typically speaking, people love that sort of effect. So whenever an opponent discards a card, you X out with a stash counter on it, and then during your turn you can play cards you don't own with stash counters on them from exile, and mana of any type can be spent to cast those spells. There's a lot of interesting cards that I think are going to be specifically good in Tiny Bones. Maybe I'll have to do a full top 10 list of this particular commander because I do believe that there are a lot of interesting specs, but the obvious choice for me is Wast Knot. I think Wast Knot is not only a card that goes great in this deck, it's just a great card overall. It's one of my favorite cards ever printed, and it sees a ton of play in many different discard decks. Discard seems to be a very popular way to play Commander, and there always seems to be one or two cards per set that are legendary that work off of discarding cards, and Wast Knot is still one of the better cards that enables those type of effects. So if we look at Wast Knot was able to get up to $20 at one point before the reprinting of this in Enchanted Tales. It actually hasn't had that many reprints in its history in Magic the Gathering. Now, it is eligible to be put in commander decks from time to time. It's pretty easy, actually. Typically, Wizards has like a set amount of value they put in a commander deck, and oftentimes Wast Knot doesn't fit their budget reasons because it was expensive. So if it does miss some reprints, this is a weird phenomenon that happens in Magic the Gathering. When they say that they don't, when Wizards of the Coast does not look at quote-unquote equity that they put in commander decks, you can actually look at commander decks and they usually have $100 worth of value on the secondary market. If they ever go above that sort, the cards end up getting cut and they find a worse version. That's why the mana base in most commander decks are always pretty lackluster, because that's always the first on the chopping block. I think this is what happened with Wast Knot. They have put in Commander 2016, but before it's Enchanted Tales, it missed so many commanders that probably wanted this to be in the precons. So if it does miss the precons in these next few sets that are coming out, then I think Wast Knot could easily go back up to $5-6 in the short term, and who knows how far it can go before reprints in the future. So if we look at the Wast Knot, we have about 16 being sold per day, and that's actually starting to increase with Tiny Bones, and a whopping almost 6,000 has been sold in 1 year of just this Enchanted Tales version. If we come over at the price data here for the past few days, it has been increasing. We're almost up to, on average, over $3. It's just the market price is $2.60 right now, but if you actually look at most of them that have sold recently, they're in the $3 range. And what I like even more about Wast Knot is that the card keynote spread is very, very good. So they're selling it for $4, and they're actually paying $1.80 and $2.34, and that's, you know, very, it's slightly above what the TCG price is going for. So something has to give, whether or not the Wast Knot will go up in value on the TCG player or the buy list will be decreased or increased. They're wanting a whopping 91. That's a great way to look if a card is moving, is to check to see how many Card Kingdom is willing to buy, and if it's a rare, especially a specialty version of a rare, and they want 91 copies, then you got to believe they're selling through these at a very, very high rate. So Wast Knot, again, is just a very, very Delva card. As I specified in this video, there are a couple of things you have to look out for. This is a card that could potentially be reprinted a lot, but in the short term, I think this is an easy pick it up now, flip it when it doubles up, and rinse and repeat every time it gets repeated. Anyway, this has been Kevin with the Rogue Market. Check back tomorrow for our number 3 from Foundations. Thanks for watching.